Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto is the husband of Chaos Percy Jackson. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by DEATHDRAGONR3 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Long before the Greek gods existed, there was the first divine being. He was once called Naruto Uzumaki, but now he is known by many names. The creator. The first primordial. But by most people, he is known as Chaos. Unknown to even the gods, he was once part of the elemental nations, but that place was flawed. There was never true peace. So after absorbing the powers of Kagaya, the divine beings of that realm, Kami, Yami and Shinigami, approached him and asked him to absorb them and correct this flawed world. He agreed, and after absorbing them, he became a god. He absorbed all the chakra in the world and destroyed the elemental nations. Then he created a new world. A world with the underworld to punish or reward the dead for their actions on earth. Then he created the first living beings on the planet. The primordial, Gaia, Uranos and Tartarus. And then he created humans, with no chakra this time, and the mist, to hide the divine and non-humanly actions going on. He had used up a lot of power after creating an entire world, so he went to rest below Tartarus, in a place named after his new name, Chaos. In there he would observe the world and see what happened in it through the times. He would also train in his mindscape, making him infinitely stronger. 1,000,000 years later. Naruto yawned. Hey Kurama. How long have I been asleep? 1,000,000 years, Kit, said Kurama. Wait. You're God for sage's sake. You're the first and ultimate divine being and the last one with chakra, and you don't know how long you have been sleeping. I guess you are right. So now who exactly is ruling the world right now? Zeus and the Olympians. They call themselves gods. Right. Now I remember. Let's go give them a visit, shall we? I want to see how things have been going on. Let's go, Kit. Let's have some fun. Sure. Naruto Chaos teleports in front of the doors of the Olympian throne room, where they have been fighting over who stole Zeus's master bolt. Chaos opens the door and walks in wearing a orange and black hoodie with black pants and black Nike shoes. All gods stop talking and stare at the headed man entering the room. Who are you and how dare you interrupt this meeting? I will kill you for this, said the king of the god, Zeus. I thought the king of the gods should know stuff. Well, I can't really blame you. How dare you? He shoots a powerful lightning bolt at Naruto that would incinerate a mortal. Naruto smirks and catches the lightning bolt between his two fingers. All gods are dumbfounded and Zeus is fuming. Naruto then starts growing in size till he is even bigger than Zeus. He then throws the lightning bolt back at Zeus, who gets hit and is in pain. Who are you? Asked Athena, the goddess of wisdom, with fear in her eyes. Something she has not felt in a really long time. Me? Said Naruto as he slowly pulls down his hood. I am Zeus's great-grandfather. I am Chaos. All of the gods are shocked. They are speechless. Oh, don't worry. I am not here to erase you all from existence or lecture you on how you should be treating the mortals. He continued, I am just here for a nice family reunion. All leaving out the titans and giants and demigods and minor gods. Wait. Someone's missing. He snaps his finger and both Hades and Hestia appear. How did I get here? Said the god of the underworld. I don't know. Continued Hestia. I brought you here, answered Chaos. And who might you be? Questioned Hades. I am your great-grandfather, Chaos, and judging from the glares that we are getting by the rest of our family, we are not really liked. You got that right. Hello, Hestia. Hello, great-grandfather, said the goddess of family. At least someone here has respect for family, said Chaos, wiping off a fake tear from his eye. Now, back to business. What is the fuss going on here? Someone stole Zeus's master bolt and he blames Poseidon for it, blurted out Apollo. Apollo, shut up. We don't even know if we can trust him yet, said Athena. You can't even trust your family? No wonder this is the most complicated and problematic family in the world. What do you mean by that? Asked Hera, a bit frustrated. This is what I mean. Hades is neglected and hated by the rest of the family except Hestia. Hestia isn't even remembered anymore. Dionysus is grounded for 100 years. Artemis hates boys. Hephaestus got rejected by his own mom. Apollo is cool but an idiot and flirts with everyone possible, which gets him into trouble. Ares is just too thick-skulled. The only thing Demeter likes is plants. Aphrodite only cares about her looks and is cheating on her husband freely. Hermes. Man, you got to make people respect you. They treat you like a walking email. Athena. I know you got angry when Waterboy messed around with his girlfriend in your temple, but was it really necessary to turn her into a snake-haired monster that turned people into statues? You just gave demigods one more problematic monster to deal with, like they didn't have enough already. Poseidon. You know bedrooms exist for multiple purposes, right? Was it necessary to use Athena's temple? Hera. I know that you are the goddess of marriage, but remember. You are also the goddess of women, so if Zeus keeps cheating on you, so what? It's not like it is ever going to change. So live your immortal life to the fullest and screw Zeus, and sometimes just remember, even though you are gods, marrying your brother is just weird. According to me, you should get a divorce already. And finally, Thunder Boy. The biggest problem in the family. You really need to remove that massive stick that is up your ass. All you do is think that you are the greatest power in the world, but you are not. You cast down your own family to Earth multiple times for reasons they didn't deserve. You cast Hades down to the underworld, and all of you hate him. He does not even have a seat in Olympus. He did nothing to you, yet he is treated like an outsider. If you all think that he is evil, then he is not. Zeus, you get angry at every small thing, but you need to realize that being humble will make you a good king, and your arrogance and your paranoia that people want to overthrow you will be your downfall. It was your father's downfall and your grandfather's, and if you do not change, it will be yours. That was beautiful. You were so subtle about it that I didn't even understand if you were roasting us or trying to correct our mistakes," said Hestia. Poseidon and Hades burst out into laughter. "Hear that, brother, you need to get rid of that massive stick up your ass," teased Poseidon. Zeus just shot them a death glare. "But in all seriousness," continued Chaos, "you gods treat mortals like garbage. That needs to change. And most of you don't even care about your children. I am not telling you that you should visit them daily because I know you all are bound by ancient laws and cannot visit them directly, but there are a number of ways you can make them know that you love them, because one thing that you all should know is that if you don't treat your family like one, then there will be problems. Kronos and Uranos have experienced that, and I don't want you to be the next one, Zeus. Also, Hades, Hestia and I will get seats in Olympus because Hades and Hestia are a part of the family and Hestia will need to keep the family together. So there will be 15 Olympians now. Hey, who are you to tell us what to do and what not to? You are not even a god." Naruto sighed and raised up his hand. Suddenly, Arya came flying out of his chair and came towards Naruto. He pulled back his fist and delivered one straight punch into Ares' gut, knocking the air out of him. "See, this is what I meant by thick-skulled after all my lectures. I am the oldest and strongest member of your family, so show me some respect or I will have to knock some sense into you, brat." Ares dropped unconscious. "Athena, please knock some sense into your brother. Hera, make sure to remove that stick that is up Zeus's ass. Poseidon and Hades, help her out. Your brother is more stubborn than Tartarus. As for the rest of you, get to know Hades, trust me, he might get a bit dark sometimes, but he is a cool guy." Everyone just nodded, being shocked at how powerful he was to knock Ares out in just one punch. "How do you know so much?" asked Athena. "When I was sleeping for these million years, I wasn't just sleeping. I was observing what was happening through the times and training in my mindscape." "Training?" "Yes. Training. Why? To get stronger and get better control over my powers, which are endless, so I always train. But you are already so strong. You knocked Ares out in just one punch. I am really strong, but there can be threats in the future. Even though they might not be as powerful as me, they can always have some tricks up their sleeves. Besides, training is more like a hobby to me. You gods never train thinking you are perfect, but you are not. Nobody is. Not even I am perfect. I understand. You know, I could always train any of you to get better control over powers." "How can you train us in our domains?" asked Artemis. "You are forgetting, Artie, I created everything, including this planet, the underworld and Tartarus. I have control over every domain and I have mastered all fire powers." Chaos replied. "Let me show you something." Just as he said this, a chair made of plants, wood and grape wines sat down on it as half of his body started glowing like the sun and the other half started emitting moonlight. He held out his right hand in which a ball of energy started forming. Then it started glow pink as fire, water, lightning, wind and small rocks started spinning around it. Beside him 2 skeleton guards appeared with a spear and a sword. The first one sat on a boar while the second one sat on a cow. "Whoa. You weren't lying. Can you please train me, Super Gramps?" pleaded Apollo with puppy dog eyes. "Sure. You might even become stronger than Zeus, but he will remain the king of the gods and you will not try to overthrow him, okay?" "Okay," said Apollo with a huge grin on his face. "Stop acting like a child, Apollo." "Super Gramps. Really?" asked Artemis. "I don't mind," said Chaos while Apollo just pouted. "How do you have such mastery over our domains, even more than us? I am sure even father cannot control lightning to such a degree," asked Artemis. "I told you. I have been training for 1,000,000 years. Also, I know a lot of things. I can even read minds. So I know exactly who stole your lightning bolt." "Who is it?" Zeus boomed. "There you go again with your dominating attitude. you really need to learn how to chill. Learn something from Apollo or Poseidon. Apollo and Poseidon, I demand you to teach me the art of chilling. Everybody's sweat dropped. I won't tell you who stole it because it will be nice quest for the demigods and Zeus, do not blame any god or demigod or even threaten them if you don't know who is the true culprit. Chaos said, releasing killer intent towards Zeus, who got a cold shiver down his spine. Why yes. Poseidon burst out into laughter, look at the mighty Zeus scared. Everybody just chuckled while Zeus shot him a death glare. I will start training all of you and the demigods after your toy is returned, Zeus. Said Chaos. It is not a toy. It is the most powerful weapon in the entire world. Complained Zeus. To me it is just a toy. I will give you an actual weapon after you learn to be humble and get rid of that stick up your ass. TCH. Anyways, I will see you all later when the bolt is returned. Till then, treat Hades nicely and Hestia make sure that the family stays together. Bye. He said as he disappeared in black flames. That was, said Hera. Weird. Replied Athena. Cool, argued Apollo. Awesome. He totally roasted Zeus' ass. Said Poseidon, grinning. While Zeus just glared at him. Ha. Poseidon. Return my lightning bolt. Said Ares as he slowly woke up. Then he fell asleep again. Everybody just chuckled and face-palmed. Chapter 2. My evil math teacher wants to kill me. It was a normal day at the Yancey Academy. A normal boring day in Percy Jackson's math class right before someone new joined the class. Honeys, we have a new student today. His name is Naruto Uzumaki and he is from Japan. He recently moved to New York. As she said this, a boy wearing an orange hoodie and black pants came into view. He had blonde spiky hair, 3 whisker marks on each of his cheeks and deep blue eyes. Percy Jackson. Raise your hand. Honey, go sit next to that brat. The math teacher continued. Naruto went and sat next to Percy. Hey, who is she? She is weird. She is Miss Dodds, our math teacher. Replied Percy. Apparently she hates you. You got that right. Miss Dodds was a math teacher from Georgia who always wore a black leather jacket even though she was 50 years old. She looked mean enough to ride a Harley straight into your locker according to Percy and had come Yancey recently as their previous math teacher had a nervous breakdown. The class continued. It was really boring and not many people were paying attention. Occasionally, Miss Dodds would ask Percy some questions that he wouldn't know the answers of. At the end of the class, they had a test in which Naruto and Percy got the lowest marks. The next class was Latin, which was taught by Mr. Brunner. He was a middle-aged man in a motorized wheelchair. He had thinning hair and a scruffy beard and a frayed tweed jacket which smelled like coffee. Percy seems to like the guy. Thought Naruto, as he was more interactive in this class. After the classes, the students started moving to their dorm rooms. Percy, Naruto and a boy named Grover were walking together. Hey Naruto, which dorm are you in? Asked Percy. Dorm room 101. Replied Naruto. Really? That means we are in the same dorm along with Grover. Awesome. The next few months in the Yancey Academy were pretty great for the boys. They have become really close friends and are always together. Naruto quickly realized that Grover was being bullied by this girl named Nancy Bobofet and he did not like it. In fact, he hated her, all 3 of the boys did. Naruto remembered his own past when he was in the Shinobi Academy and everybody would bully him, so he stood up for Grover. The first time he saw Nancy bully Grover, he released a very, very small amount of killing intent at her, which was enough to scare her so bad she thought that he was a monster and never came anywhere near them when Naruto was with them. After this incident, Miss Dodds also hated Naruto as he was helping the 2 boys and she seemed to love Nancy. Today, they were going on a field trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Percy had a bad history with field trips. Whenever he went on a field trip, something bad would happen, but this time, he hoped that nothing would go wrong. Mr. Brunner led them into the museum on his motorized wheelchair and gathered everyone around a 4-meter-tall stone column with a big sphinx on the top and started explaining about how it was a grave marker, a stele, for a girl about the age of the students. He told them about the carvings on the sides. Percy and Naruto were trying to listen to it, though Naruto already knew everything about it while everybody else around them were talking, so Naruto and Percy took turns telling them to shut up and every time Miss Dodds would give them the evil eye. Mr. Brunner kept talking about Greek funeral art. Finally, when Percy heard Nancy Bobofet snicker something about the naked guy on the stele, he turned around and said, "Will you shut up?" It came out rather loud than he meant it to. The whole group laughed. Mr. Brunner stopped his story. "Mr. Jackson," he said, "did you have a comment?" His face was totally red as he said, "No sir." Mr. Brunner pointed to one of the pictures on the stele. "Perhaps you'll tell us what this picture represents." He looked at the carving and felt a flush of relief because he actually recognized it. That's Kronos eating his kids, right? "Yes," Mr. Brunner said, obviously not satisfied. "And he did this because..." Well, he racked his brain to remember. Kronos was the king god and… God? Mr. Brunner asked. Titan, he corrected himself. And he didn't trust his kids, who were the gods. So, Kronos ate them, right. But his wife hid baby Zeus and gave Kronos a rock to eat instead. And later, when Zeus grew up, he tricked his dad, Kronos, into barfing up his brothers and sisters. Ew. Said one of the girls behind him. And so there was a big fight between the gods and the titans, he continued, and the gods won. Some snickers were heard from the group. Behind him, Nancy Bobofit mumbled to a friend, like we're going to use this in real life. Like it's going to say on our job applications, please explain why Kronos ate his kids. And why, Mr. Jackson, Brunner said, to paraphrase Miss Bobofit's excellent question, does this matter in real life? Busted, Grover muttered as Naruto chuckled. Shut up, Nancy hissed, her face even brighter red than her hair. At least Nancy got in trouble, too. Mr. Brunner was the only one who ever caught her saying anything wrong. Percy thought about his question and shrugged. I don't know, sir. I see. Mr. Brunner looked disappointed. Well, half credit Mr. Jackson. Zeus did indeed feed Kronos a mixture of mustard and wine, which made him disgorge his other 5 children, who, of course, being immortal gods, had been living and growing up completely undigested in the Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced him to pieces with his own scythe, and scattered his remains in Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld. On that happy note, it's time for lunch. Mrs. Dodds, would you lead us back outside? The class moved outside the museum to have lunch as Mr. Brunner stopped Percy and gave him a talk about how he expected a lot from him and that he should learn everything that he taught him. He said that is very important. Percy wanted to get angry. The teacher pushed him too hard. He expected him to be better than everybody else, but Percy had dyslexia and ADHD and had never gotten higher than a C in his life. He just couldn't learn all the names and facts about the Greeks and Romans, much less spell them correctly. Percy walked outside and sat beside Grover next to the fountain. Naruto wasn't there as he had gone to use the toilet back in the museum. Nancy Bobofit and her ugly friends came in front of them as she dropped her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap. Oops. She said as she grinned at Percy with her crooked teeth. Percy tried to control his anger. The school counselor had told him a million times to count to 10 and control his temper, but he was so mad that his mind went blank and he heard a wave roaring in his ears. The next thing he knew, Nancy was sitting on her butt in the fountain. He didn't remember pushing her, but she screamed anyways, Percy pushed me. Miss Dodds materialized in next to them. Some of the kids were whispering. Did you see? The water. Like it grabbed her. Percy didn't know what they were talking about. All he knew was that he was in big trouble. Grover tried telling Miss Dodds that he was the one who pushed Nancy into the fountain, but she didn't listen to him. She led Percy into the museum. At first, he thought that she would make him buy a new shirt for Nancy from the gift shop, but apparently that wasn't the plan as she led him deeper into the museum. They were back in the Greek and Roman gallery, but for them, the gallery was empty. She stood in front of him with her arms crossed, making a weird sound from her throat, like growling. Even without the noise, he would have been nervous. It's weird being alone with a teacher, especially Mrs. Dodds. You have been giving us problems, honey, she said. He did the safe thing and said, yes ma'am. Did you really think you would get away with it? The look in her eyes was beyond mad. It was evil. She was a teacher, he thought nervously. It's not like she was going to hurt him. We are not fools, Percy Jackson, Mrs. Dodd said. It was only a matter of time before we found out. Confess, and you will suffer less pain. He didn't know what she was talking about. All he could think of was that she had found the illegal stash of candy he was selling outside his dorm or that he had copied his essays from the internet, but it didn't sound like it. He was freaking out in his mind. Well? She demanded. Ma'am, I don't know, he started to reply. Your time is up, she hissed. Then the weirdest thing in his entire life happened. Her eyes began to glow like barbecue coals. Her fingers stretched, turning into talons. Her jacket melted into large, leathery wings. She wasn't human. She was a shriveled hag with bat wings and claws and a mouth full of yellow fangs, and she was about to slice him to ribbons. Then things got even stranger. Mr. Brunner, who'd been out in front of the museum a minute before, wheeled his chair into the doorway of the gallery, holding a pen in his hand. What ho, Percy? He shouted and tossed the pen through the air. Mrs. Dodds lunged at him. Die, honey. Percy was scared for his life when things got even more strange. Suddenly Naruto appeared in front of him and yelled, Gale palm, and thrust his palm forward. A huge gust of wind came from his palm and slammed into the creature, who was formerly known Miss Dodds, as she was blown back and slammed into the wall. Percy caught the pen that Mr. Brunner threw at him. Wait, it wasn't a pen anymore. It was a bronze sword. He stared at it in shock. Then he looked at Naruto. What did you just do? What was that? You shot wind from your palm. How? No time to explain. I could kill the monster, but I need you to get over your fear, so I will launch the monster at you, and you will kill it, okay? He replied. Oh okay, Percy replied, stuttering because he was still extremely confused and scared. He moved back a bit to give Naruto some space. Fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu. He yelled as he shot multiple small fireballs from his mouth at Mrs. Dodds. She dodged some, but others hit her. Then suddenly, Naruto appears behind her and yells once again, Gale Palm. As he released a powerful gust of wind that sent her flying towards Percy. Percy. Now. Commanded Naruto. Percy just looks in horror as the creature comes flying towards him saying, die, die, die honey I. At the last moment he closed his eyes and swung the sword. Luckily, it passed straight through her should like she was made of water. Mrs. Dodds exploded into yellow powder and instantly vaporized. He opened his eyes to see a ballpoint pen in his hand. Then he looked up to see Naruto standing in front of him with his arms crossed. I know what you are thinking, was it all real? To answer the question, yes it was. All of it. If you want to know how I was so fast and could shoot fireballs and wind, well, that would have to wait till we are somewhere private and comfortable. By the way, congrats on killing your first monster. Said the blonde, grinning. Percy just looked at him with shock and nodded dumbly. Also, if Mr. Brunner asks you to give you that pen back, don't. It is your only weapon and you will need it. Also don't talk to people about Miss Dodds. Things will just get more confusing. Percy nodded again. Then they both walked outside and saw Grover still sitting next to the fountain and Nancy was still wet, grumbling to her ugly friends. When she saw Percy she said, I hope Mrs. Kerr whipped your butt. Who? Percy asked in confusion. Our teacher. Duh. Percy blinked. They had no teacher called Mrs. Kerr. He asked Nancy what she was talking about. She just rolled her eyes and walked away. He asked Grover, wasn't our teacher Mrs. Dodds? He said, who? But he paused first and he wouldn't look at him, so Percy thought that he was messing with him. Not funny, man, Percy told him. This is serious. Thunder boomed overhead. He saw Mr. Brunner sitting on his wheelchair, reading his book as if he'd never moved. Percy went over to him. He looked up, a little distracted. Ah, that would be my pen. Please bring your own writing utensil in the future, Mr. Jackson. He realized he was still holding the pen. Sir, can I please keep this pen? He asked. Mrs. Brunner looked at Naruto. He could see it in his eyes that he knew something. They would have to have a talk later. Naruto just nodded and mouthed, I will keep him safe. This made him even more suspicious. Mrs. Brunner looked concerned but finally agreed to Percy's request, sure. Sir, Percy said, Grover and Nancy are saying that our teacher is Mrs. Kerr. What about Mrs. Dodds? He stared at the confused boy blankly. Who? The other chaperone. Mrs. Dodds. The pre-algebra teacher. He frowned and sat forward, looking mildly concerned. Percy, there is no Mrs. Dodds on this trip. As far as I know, there has never been a Mrs. Dodds at Yancey Academy. Are you feeling alright? Percy just looked at Naruto. The blonde smirked and mouthed, I told you. Confusion. Chapter 3. My Latin teacher is a horse. Okay, what's going on? Asked Percy as he locked the door of the dorm room. Only Percy and Naruto were in the room and Grover had gone somewhere with Mr. Brunner. What was Mrs. Dodds? How did you shoot fireballs? Why did Mr. Brunner give me a pen that turned into a sword? Who is Mrs. Kerr? Ho, he continued. Whoa, calm down, Percy. Naruto interrupted. Mrs. Dodds was a monster disguised as a human. She wanted something from you, but I don't know what and for how I shot fireballs, that is a long story. We have lots of time, Naruto, tell me everything. Naruto sighed. Hey kid, tell him that bullshit story you cooked up in case he ever found out. Said Kurama in Naruto's mind. Okay Kurama, and it is not bullshit. It is sensible. Naruto replied in his mind. Yeah right. The fox chuckled. Let's start from the beginning. Started Naruto, you see, I have this energy flowing through me which I call chakra. Like the Indian thing? Asked Percy. No. I was born with chakra and can sort of mold it in different ways. It allows me to perform different actions, like this, he said as he stared walking up the wall of the dorm and was then hanging upside down from the ceiling. Whoa, cool. I know right. He jumped down from the ceiling. It also allows me to control the elements and perform jutsus, the ones I did in the museum were Gale Palm and the fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu. How did you learn these jutsus of yours? Percy asked curiously. I created all of these. Remember Percy, I was born with chakra. I had years to experiment and develop new tricks and techniques. He lied, I also have what you would call inhuman speed and strength, my body has an unnatural healing rate and because of that I can train extremely hard and improve my speed, strength and skills. Percy nodded dumbly and asked, train? Yes. Physical and chakra control training. Percy nodded again and asked, then how do you know about monsters? Mrs. Dodds wasn't the first monster I fought. I have been attacked before. The first time was when I was 6. I barely survived. Then, I found some ancient scrolls in my house in Japan. Turns out, my ancestors were ninjas. This got me interested and I started training in the ways of the ninja. Each day, pushing my body to its limit, getting stronger, so when the next time monsters attack me, I can defend myself. Kurama chuckled in Naruto's mind about how bullshit this story is. So you have been attacked multiple times before? Yes. Oh. Moving on, I soon realized that there is some kind of force preventing normal humans from seeing the monsters and the crazy stuff I do. It's like their brains can only understand what is normal for them, and they see, hear, smell or sense the most reasonable and human thing possible. That is why nobody remembers Mrs. Dodds and knows someone called Mrs. Kerr. It was the force that messed with their brains and gave them false memories. That makes sense, kinda. Naruto nodded, Mr. Brunner definitely knows about this. Even more than me. He is definitely hiding something, and so is Grover. I know when someone lies, and both of them are. Yay, you are probably right. Percy, there is a reason I asked you to keep that sword. I am gonna train you. Huh? Train me? Yes. I won't always be there to protect you, so you will have to learn to protect yourself. Oh, cool. Naruto smirked, you won't be saying that after we start. And why is that? Because it will be extremely difficult and painful. A proper term would be brutal. Percy looked at him in horror. He knew that Naruto wasn't lying. He gulped. The next few months till the end of the year were tough for Percy. Naruto had been putting him through intense training. They used every holiday to train all day, and they also trained every evening till late night. Percy had been wearing weights on his arms, legs and his chest, and never removed them unless he was sleeping or taking a shower. He was always tired in class because of this and often slept. One time, his English teacher, Mr. Nickel, asked him for the millionth time why he was too lazy to study for spelling tests, and he snapped. He called him an old sot. He wasn't even sure what it meant, but it sounded good. The headmaster sent his mom a letter the following week, making it official. He would not be invited back next year to Yancy Academy. Fine, he told himself. Just fine. He was homesick. He wanted to be with his mom in their little apartment on the Upper East Side, even if he had to go to a public school and put up with his obnoxious stepfather and his stupid poker parties. And yet there were things he would miss at Yancy. The view of the woods out of his dorm window, the Hudson River in the distance, the smell of pine trees. He'd miss Grover, who had been a good friend, even if he was a little strange and hid things from him and was a terrible liar. He'd miss Latin class, to Mr. Brunner's crazy tournament days and his faith that he could do well, but mostly, he would miss Naruto. He was his best friend, he trained him and without him, he might not even be alive right now. Naruto had always been by his side and they had enjoyed their times together at Yancy. As exam week got closer, Latin was the only test Percy studied for. He hadn't forgotten what Mr. Brunner had told him about this subject being life and death for him. He wasn't sure why, but after the incident with Mrs. Dodds, he'd started to believe him. The evening before the final exam, Percy and Naruto were in their dorm room, relaxing. They had already studied for the Latin test the next day. With the help of Naruto, Percy was sure that he would get good grades. Hey Percy. Naruto called out to him. Yay. What's up? Percy replied. I was thinking, Grover and Mr. Brunner have been hanging out together an awful lot lately. Yay. They are definitely hiding something. I have a feeling they know something about why we are not normal and what Mrs. Dodds was. My thoughts exactly. Let's go check up on them. Okay. Let's go. The two boys walked downstairs to the faculty offices. Most of them were dark and empty, but Mr. Brunner's door was ajar, light from his window stretching across the hallway floor. They were 3 steps from the door when Naruto stopped Percy and whispered in his ear, just listen to what they are talking about and don't make a sound. Percy just nodded and then they heard Grover, I am worried about Percy sir. We can't leave him alone this summer. I mean, a kindly one in school. Now that we know for sure, and they know too. We would only make matters worse by rushing him, Mr. Brunner said. We need the boy to mature more. But he may not have time. The summer solstice deadline is near. He and Naruto already suspect that we are hiding something. Naruto is with him and they both know that what they saw and fought in the museum was real. They already know too much. You might be right Grover. Naruto is no ordinary child. He has powers, ones that nobody in this world has ever seen. I suspect that he also might be a demigod, just like Percy. His sheer speed was faster than any demigods I have ever seen. It seems that Naruto has trained and fought monster before. At this, Percy was shocked beyond belief. He and Naruto were demigods. He had a million questions and was about to say something, but Naruto put his hand on his mouth and silenced him as they continued listening. The mist over the students and staff wouldn't be able to convince them. I think Naruto already knows about the mist. The teacher continued. Talk to Sally Jackson and get them ready. They will have to come to the camp this summer. They are no longer safe out in the open. The pen dropped out of Percy's pocket and hit the ground. Mr. Brunner went silent. Percy's heart was hammering while Naruto stayed calm. He picked up the pen and the both of them back down the hall. A shadow slid across the lighted glass of Brunner's office door, the shadow of something much taller than my wheelchair-bound teacher, holding something that looked suspiciously like an archer's bow. Naruto opened the nearest door and pulled Percy inside. A few seconds later they heard a slow clop clop clop, like muffled wood blocks, then a sound like an animal snuffling right outside their door. A large dark shape paused in front of the glass, then moved on. A bead of sweat trickled down Percy's neck. He pulled out his ballpoint pen and uncapped it as it turned into a bronze sword. He had been trained by Naruto on how to use it and was surprisingly good at it. Percy quickly opened the door and jumped outside along with Naruto, ready for anything. A strange horse-like creature turned and shot an arrow at them. Naruto just caught the arrow out of midair and snapped it, shocking the creature. The next thing they saw shocked them. It was Mr. Brunner, with a lower body of a horse. "Mr. Brunner, what are you?" asked Percy. "I am a centaur, Percy, and my name is not Brunner. It is Chiron." Chapter 4. Bull vs. Dragon Loser. The horse. "Wide," reacted Percy and immediately fainted. "I am guessing he didn't take news as well as you did, Naruto," chuckled Chiron. "No, he didn't. We should go back in your office, Chiron, we have a lot to talk about," replied Naruto. "Yes. There is no point in hiding things anymore. You both already know too much." Grover, Percy, Chiron and Naruto went back into the office as Chiron sat back down into his wheelchair. Percy woke up soon and was still shocked by the news. "Are you gonna start the questions or should I?" asked Naruto while looking at Chiron. "Ahem. Naruto, you have a strange power, one that I have never seen before." "What is it?" asked Chiron. "This is going to be a long night," thought Naruto. "I am not really in a mood to explain the entire story, so I will tell you in short. That power is what I call chakra. It is an energy that flows through my body. I can mold it to perform different actions or jutsus like walking on walls or water and controlling the elements and much more." "And how exactly did yo?" "I know what you are asking. Let me tell you. I have been attacked by monsters many times before and soon I found out that my ancestors were ninjas and in my home in Japan, I found some ancient scrolls using which I started to train to protect myself. I have an incredible healing factor, allowing me to push myself even harder and get stronger much faster. I had chakra from the day I was born, so I experimented with it and created many jutsus and techniques and after training for a long time, I have what you would call super speed and strength." Chiron and Grover just nodded dumbly. "Also, after the museum incident, I have been training Percy with how to use his sword and he is very good at it." They nodded again. "You know how to use a sword?" asked Grover. "Yes. I do. I prefer to use kunai knives, but for some reason they don't work on monsters. No weapons I have seem to work, but Percy's sword does," replied Naruto. "That is because normal weapons don't work on monsters. Only weapons made from celestial bronze and imperial gold work, like Percy's sword," said Chiron. Naruto nodded. Percy was getting a bit impatient so he asked, "What do you mean by camp? And how exactly do you know my mother? What is the summer solstice? We are demigods." Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Calm down, Percy. Let them explain." Percy calmed down as Chiron started to speak. "By camp we mean Camp Half-Blood. A summer camp for demigods where they are trained and kept safe. We have never met your mother face to face, but she knows that we are watching over you. As for the summer solstice, we will talk about it later when we are in camp, and yes. I know that you are a demigod, Percy, and I suspect that Naruto is one too. Since you sit in a wheelchair and are a centaur, what is Grover? I am sure his legs are just fine," asked Naruto curiously. "I am a satyr," replied Grover. "A what?" asked Percy not knowing what he meant. "A satyr. Half goat, half human," replied Naruto. Percy just nodded. "So when are we going to this camp?" "Tonight," replied Chiron. "Tonight?" "Yes. You both already know too much. The more you know, the more monster you attract. We will tell your mother once we reach camp. All three of you, go pack your things. We will leave in an hour." All of them nodded and went to pack their things. "I can't believe this is all real. I am a demigod. Who is my father?" asked Percy. "You will find out soon enough," replied Grover. They all packed their things and got into a car with Chiron. They didn't take unnecessary things and only took the things they really needed to reduce the luggage. They started driving towards their destination. There was a storm brewing and they were 1 mile away from their destination when there was boom. The car got hit by someone, no, something. The car flipped over and was about to explode, but all of them suddenly appeared outside as they saw the car explode. Below them was a three-pronged kunai with a special kind of seal on it. How did we? Asked Grover. The Flying Thunder God. A technique I created which allows me to teleport wherever the seal marker is placed. In this case, a kunai. I can travel wherever the seal is, no matter how far. Naruto replied as he picked up the kunai from the ground and put it back in his pouch. Grover was about to ask more questions when they saw a dark figure in front of them. He looked like a football player and was very bulky. His head was huge and had something pointy poking out of it. Horns. Grover and Percy started trembling in fear, but Chiron was calm. He came out his wheelchair, like a centaur, and aimed his bow at the beast, but was stopped by Naruto who was grinning wildly. Grover and Percy, go to the camp, Chiron, you can go with them if you want or watch the show, but the Minotaur is mine. It has been a while since I have had some fun. Naruto ordered. But Grover complained. Go. Grover and Percy headed to the camp. I think the beast may be too much for you to handle, Naruto. Stated Chiron, who was clearly worried. No, Chiron. I haven't had a good fight in a long time. I hope this beast gives me one. If it is too weak then I will just end it. Said Naruto, who was still grinning like a maniac. Chiron looked worried but also shocked by the amount of confidence the kid had. Even trained demigods sometimes fear the Minotaur, but this kid, he treated it like it was nothing. He nodded and lowered his bow, but was still ready to jump into action if something went wrong. He wanted to see if this kid was really as strong as he thought he was. The Minotaur charged at Naruto. Chiron thought that he would move at the last second, but he didn't. Naruto infused his fist with a huge amount of chakra and slammed his fist straight into the beast's forehead as it stopped dead in its tracks. Then he yelled, water style. Water wall. As a wall of water rose from the ground and lifted the beast high into the air. Chiron was shocked by strength of the kid and his ability to control water. The first thought that came to his mind was Poseidon. Naruto then disappeared and appeared right above the Minotaur with a giant Rasengan ready in his hand as he shouted, Rasengan. And slammed the huge ball of swirling chakra straight into the monster's back. The monster slammed into the ground with a boom and was visibly beaten up. Tough are we? Joked Naruto as he looked at the beaten up beast who was trying to get up. The Minotaur got up and charged at the boy who grinned wildly. When the beast got closer, Naruto yelled, slicing wind blade. As wind blades came from the boy's hands and cut the horns of the beast cleanly off as the beast got enraged. Great breakthrough. Naruto yelled as a powerful gust of wind sent the beast flying back. Time to end this. Grinned Naruto. His hand began to cackle with lightning. Then in the sky, lightning began to flash wildly. Soon, everyone, including the people in the camp, could see a huge dragon made of lightning, dancing in the sky. Then, Naruto brought his hand down and said, Kirin. The lightning dragon came crashing down on the Minotaur, instantly incinerating it and creating a massive crater as there was a huge explosion. Back with Percy and Grover, they saw the lightning dragon and the explosion. Percy had woken up just in time to see this. Grover started trembling in fear as he said to Percy, Zeus. He is mad. That wasn't Zeus. Said Percy. What do you mean? That was Naruto. He had told me once about one of his powerful attacks called Kirin, in which he brought down a massive lightning dragon from the sky. He never showed it to me because he said it was too destructive. I guess this is it. Grover looked at him in utter shock. He was speechless. I don't think this is even full power. Percy continued. The way he described it, it should be powerful enough to at least destroy a small mountain. Grover stared at him, what? Is he really that powerful? Yep. Grover gulped. Let's just stay on his good side. I am going to spread this news like wildfire, just to make sure nobody messes with him or us. Percy chuckled. Back with Naruto, as the smoke cleared, Chiron saw the huge crater and standing at the edge of it was Naruto, grinning and holding two horns. Chiron trotted towards him and just stared at him. He was too shocked to say anything. Naruto just smirked at him and said, what happened? You look like you just saw a ghost. It was just my Kirin at 25%. Chiron's eyes widened, that was just 25%. Not full power. Nah. We were too close to the target to use full power. The full power Kirin can at least destroy a small mountain. After hearing this, Chiron fainted. Naruto just chuckled and created 5 shadow clones who picked up Chiron and walked into the camp. Everybody was out of their cabins, including Mr. D, and they were staring at the young blonde who was walking into the camp, holding 2 horns in his hands, had a few clones carrying Chiron, and had a smug look on his face. Naruto was then greeted by Percy and Grover. You sure know how to make a flashy entrance. Pun intended. Said Percy. I sure do. Smirked Naruto. Chapter 5. I fight myself. The night of their arrival was chaotic. Naruto was bombarded with questions. All the campers were awake and were either talking amongst themselves or bombarding Naruto with questions. One girl in particular seemed really interested in him, but he just shrugged it off. Soon, Chiron woke up and herded the campers back into their cabins till there was only Naruto, Percy, Grover, Mr. D and the centaur himself left. "I believe we have a lot to talk about," said Mr. D while looking at Naruto with narrowed eyes. "Yes, sir," said the blonde. The five of them went into the big house. First question. "What are your names?" asked Mr. D. "I am Naruto Uzumaki," said Naruto. "And my name is Percy Jackson, and who are you?" said Percy in a rather rude tone. "He is the camp director. Call him Mr. D, and please show him some respect if you want what is best for you. He is a god," said Grover, clearly afraid of the man. "Oh. I am sorry, but which god are you?" "Dionysus," replied the god plainly. "Now that the small talk is out of the way, how in the world did you see the lightning dragon?" The next few minutes were spent explaining the god about Naruto's past, chakra, power and skills. Mr. D appeared shocked when he found out that the Kirin was only at 25%. He thought in his mind, there has never been a demigod with this chakra, nor has there been one who can control multiple elements, and that to such a degree. That move of his, the Kirin, is itself as strong as Zeus's masterbolt. He might be killed by Zeus because of his skills. I wonder who his godly parent is. Then the god said, "No wonder defeating the Minotaur was such an easy task. You are definitely the strongest demigod in camp right now. You might even be strongest demigod to ever live," said Chiron. "That might be a bit of a stretch, Chiron." Naruto just raised an eyebrow and looked amused. Then he asked the god, "Mr. D, can you please tell me one demigod who can move faster than the eye can see, climb up walls and walk on water, control every element, crush boulders with his bare hands, heal people, and has attacks that can destroy mountains?" Mr. D just blinked and said, "Point taken." Naruto smirked. They explained everything to the god about what happened in the museum and at the fight with the Minotaur. Then, Percy and Naruto were suggested to go to the Hermes cabin to sleep for the night, but they refused, saying that they would be asked too many questions, so they set up camp outside as Naruto made a seal around the tent to protect it from any attacks or monsters. The next morning they woke up only to see the two Stoll brothers lying on the ground, unconscious, outside their tent. Percy snapped his head at Naruto, "Did you do this?" "I may or may not have put a seal that electrocuted anyone who touched the tent," said Naruto while rubbing the back of his head. Percy just chuckled and ignored the sleeping brothers. It was still early in the morning, so they decided to do their morning workout, which was quite intense for those who hadn't been trained by Naruto. Then they heard a loud horn and saw all the campers moving out, so they decided to follow them. It looked like they were heading towards a dining pavilion. On the way there, Percy and Naruto heard a few campers whispering among themselves, "It's him. He killed the Minotaur. Yes, he is the one brought down the lightning dragon. I bet he is a son of Zeus. There is no way he is not." The two ignored them and walked straight into the pavilion. "Hey. I am Luke, the counselor of the Hermes cabin. You both will be staying with us till you are determined," said a boy walking up to them. He looked older than most. Percy raised an eyebrow, determined. "Till we know who your godly parent is. Though we probably already know yours, Naruto." Naruto just nodded with a blank expression, but in his mind, he smirked. The campers were in for a huge surprise. The boys sat down at the overcrowded Hermes table. After a while, Chiron pounded his hoof on the floor, gaining everybody's attention. He raised a glass and said, "To the gods." Everybody except Naruto and Percy raised their glass, "To the gods." Wood nymphs came forward with platters of various kinds of foods. Percy looked at his glass, which was empty. "Speak to it. It will fill up with anything you want, non-alcoholic of course," said Luke. "Cherry Coke," said Percy as the glass filled with sparkling caramel liquid. Then he had an idea. "Blue cherry Coke." The soda turned a violent shade of cobalt. He took a cautious sip. "Perfect." He drank a toast to his mother. Naruto looked at what Percy just did and asked Luke, "Do the plates of bowls work the same way?" "Yes," Luke replied. "Okay then." Naruto smiled and looked at a bowl. Mizo ramen with extra pork. The bowl filled up with his favorite dish that looked exactly like the Ichiraku ramen he had eaten over 1,000,000 years ago. This brought back a lot of memories, but he shoved those thoughts aside. He was about to start digging in when he noticed everybody getting up and carrying their plates towards the fire in the center of the pavilion. "Come on," Luke told Naruto and Percy. As they got closer, they saw that everyone was taking a portion of their meal and dropping it into the fire, the ripest strawberry, the juiciest slice of beef, the warmest, most buttery roll. Luke murmured in their ear, "Burnt offerings for the gods. They like the smell." "You're kidding, right?" asked Percy. His look warned him not to take this lightly, but he couldn't help wondering why an immortal all-powerful being would like the smell of burning food. Luke approached the fire, bowed his head, and tossed in a cluster of fat red grapes. Hermes. Percy was next. He wished he knew what god's name to say. Finally, he made a silent plea. "Whoever you are, tell me. Please." He scraped a big slice of brisket into the flames. When he caught a whiff of the smoke, he didn't gag. It smelled nothing like burning food. It smelled of hot chocolate and fresh-baked brownies, hamburger on the grill and wildflowers, and 100 other good things that shouldn't have gone well together, but did. He could almost believe the gods could live off that smoke. Next was Naruto. "Thanks me. I am awesome," he said softly while smirking. When everybody had returned to their seats and finished eating their meals, Chiron pounded his hoof again for our attention. Mr. D got up with a huge sigh. "Yes, I suppose I'd better say hello to all you brats." "Well, hello. Our activities director, Chiron, says the next capture the flag is Friday. Cabin 5 presently holds the laurels." The bunch of ugly cheering rose from the Ares table. "Personally," Mr. D continued, "I couldn't care less, but congratulations. Also, I should tell you that we have 2 new camper today. Percy Jackson and Naruto Uzumaki." Chiron was shocked that Mr. D said their names correctly. Everybody was muttering amongst themselves about what had happened the previous night. One of the boys from the Hermes cabin spoke up. "Why is he in our cabin? I think we all know who his father is. We all saw the lightning dragon last night. He is still undetermined. He can still be the son of another god," replied Chiron. "How? He can control lightning. How can he be the son of some other god?" Many people murmured in agreement. Chiron sighed. "Naruto, show them. It will take too long to explain." Naruto nodded as he got up and went outside to an open area. Everybody was looking at him as he said, "Shadow clone jutsu." As he made 5 clones who surrounded him. Everybody gasped in shock. Then clones started to attack him as he yelled, "Fire style. Fireball jutsu. And wind style. Great breakthrough." As the 2 attacks combined and made a huge blazing fireball which dispelled 2 of the clones. Then one of the clones shot small fireballs at him and he said, "Earth style. Mud wall." Blocking the fireballs. Then he sent a water dragon towards one of the clones, dispelling it. Then he said, "Chidori stream." As he shot out a stream of lightning that dispersed another clone. He took out a 3-pronged kunai from his pouch and threw it at the last clone who dodged it, but the real Naruto appeared behind the clone in a flash with a blue ball of swirling chakra and yelled, "Rasengan." As he slammed the ball into the clone's back, dispelling it. Everybody was silent. They were too shocked to say anything. Finally, a girl from the Ares cabin decided to break the silence. "What? How is that even possible?" Naruto sighed, "I have this energy flowing through me which I call chakra. I was born with it and created multiple attacks and techniques with it to protect myself from monsters that attacked me. If you want more information, feel free to ask Chiron." Chiron glared at Naruto. "You all can interrogate Mr. Uzumaki later. Now all of you need to start your activities for the day. Annabeth, Percy and Naruto wait, the rest of you, go." Everybody started to go out of the pavilion till there were only Naruto, Percy, Annabeth and Chiron left. "Naruto, Percy, this is Annabeth. Annabeth, this is Naruto and Percy," said Chiron, introducing the 3 demigods to each other. "Annabeth will be giving you a tour of the camp and will be explaining how things work around here." The 2 boys nodded. Annabeth started the tour. She showed them around the strawberry fields, the big house, the volleyball court and the cabins. Apparently, the demigods of cabin 11 weren't thrilled of having 2 undetermined kids join their cabin, even though it was temporarily. While they were going to visit the training fields, Annabeth started, "You know, many people wish to have the opportunity you had. To fight an angry bull guy," said Naruto. "Yes. That's what we trained for." Naruto chuckled. "It isn't my fault the bull was after us. Though it was quite disappointing. It wasn't even enough to get me warmed up." Annabeth looked at him with shock. "You are kidding, right? You overestimate yourself too much." Naruto just chuckled as Percy answered, "No, seriously. You should watch him train. It is inhuman. He could have beat that bull in seconds, but he likes to show off." Annabeth just stared at Naruto who said, "I wasn't showing off. I was just making sure that people here don't mess with us. Showing off would be me using the Kirin at full power and blowing up a mountain." "That dragon wasn't at full power?" asked Annabeth. "Nope. It was at 25%. Hearing this, Annabeth fainted. Percy burst out laughing and Naruto chuckled. "This never gets old," said Percy. "Agreed," Naruto said, chuckling. After a few minutes, Annabeth woke up and they heard a husky voice yell, "Well. 2 newbies." They looked over. The big girl from the ugly red cabin was sauntering toward them. She had 3 other girls behind her, all big and ugly and mean looking like her, all wearing camo jackets. "Clarice," Annabeth sighed. Why don't you go polish your spear or something? Sure, Miss Princess, the big girl said. So I can run you through with it Friday night. Eres Caracas. Annabeth said, which the two boys somehow understood was Greek for go to the crows. Though I had a feeling it was a worse curse than it sounded. You don't stand a chance. We'll pulverize you, Clara said, but her eye twitched. Perhaps she wasn't sure she could follow through on the threat. She turned towards Naruto and Percy. A little runt and boy who has a few moves. Percy Jackson, Annabeth said, meet Claris, daughter of Ares. Percy blinked. Like the war god. Clara sneered. You got a problem with that? No, I said, recovering my wits. It explains the bad smell. Claris growled. We got an initiation ceremony for newbies, Percy. Percy? Whatever. Come on, I'll show you. Claris Annabeth tried to say. Stay out of it, wise girl. Looks like the big ugly girl is also a bully. So surprised. Said Naruto sarcastically as Percy chuckled. Why you little? Claris charged at Naruto. Let me handle this. Said Percy. Naruto nodded. Claris pulled back her fist and tried to punch Percy in the head but was surprised when he caught her fist effortlessly. First advantage of getting trained by Naruto. You get strong as hell. Said Percy as he punched Claris straight in the gut, knocking the wind out of her. Then he lifted her over his shoulder and flung her towards her ugly friends. Second advantage. You get fast as hell. He said as he appeared right behind her as soon as she got up and gave her a nasty kick to her side of her face. By now, Claris was almost unconscious. Third advantage. He said as he slowly walked towards the daughter of Ares and flicked her on the forehead as she dropped unconscious. You become awesome. The two ugly girls were shocked that Percy beat Clara so easily. They stumbled backwards as Percy stared at them, drilling through their souls. They turned around and ran away in fear. Naruto burst out laughing. I love when bullies get their ass handed to them. Annabeth stared at the two boys. What? Asked Percy and Naruto at the same time. I am thinking, Annabeth said, that I want the both of you on my team for Capture the Flag. Chapter 6. Capture the Flag. The next few days went by quickly. Percy and Naruto training by themselves and Annabeth occasionally joining them. Her training left her unconscious at the end of the day, but it was light compared to what the two boys did. The two boys had tried all activities and were the best in all of them, at least Naruto was. Nobody was sure whose son was Naruto. They all made guesses, but nobody knew for sure. Naruto was trickier than children of Hermes and smarter than children of Athena. He was stronger than children of Ares and better at archery than children of Apollo. On top of that, he could control the elements, which was still hard to believe for the campers. Percy and Naruto made many friends, but many enemies too, most of which belonged to the Ares cabin. The Ares cabin had some serious issues with the boys. They hated them with passion and did everything to prove that they were better than them, but failed and got humiliated every time. The Hephaestus cabin kids were cool with the boys. They even made two sabers for Percy and batch of enchanted three-pronged kunai and shuriken, made of celestial bronze, for Naruto that returned to his pouch whenever he snapped his fingers, in order to secure an alliance between whichever cabin the two boys would belong to. The Apollo kids and some of the Athena cabin kids didn't like Naruto because he outshined them in their specialties, but the Athena kids didn't show it to keep him on their side. The Apollo kids were jealous of Naruto as he got a new fan club that consisted of most of the hot chicks from the Aphrodite cabin. Annabeth of course was an exception for this as she spent most of the days with Naruto and Percy, trying to understand their training methods and chakra. She had Naruto explain everything to her about chakra that he knew. They became good friends in the few days and took turns humiliating the Ares cabin. For some reason, Mr. D appeared to be weary of Naruto. Nobody knew why except Naruto. The Hermes cabin was split apart. Some kids like the Stoll brothers liked Naruto as his pranks were even better than their own, but the others didn't like him and Percy as they totally annihilated Luke in sword fighting, in which he was supposed to be the best in the camp. Flashback. It was the first class of sword fighting in the camp for Naruto and Percy. Everybody was paired up and were doing dueling practice. Naruto and Percy were paired up and were dueling in unnatural speeds, using moves and stances that nobody recognized. After a while, an impressed Luke walked up to them. Hey. Who taught you those moves? Naruto. Replied Percy. Naruto? And who taught you? Nobody. I created these fighting styles with the help of the knowledge I had of sword fighting from my family scrolls. Impressive. Do you want to duel with me? No. Why? Scared. Nope. Percy will. I am not much of a sword fighter. It is not my style, and besides, Percy needs experience fighting someone other than me. Oh. What do you mean not your style? I prefer using these. Said Naruto as he pulled out a kunai and a shuriken from his pouch. That's good and all, but I don't know how that would be effective against a sword fighter or a bulky opponent. It is effective if you know how to use it. Here. Naruto said as he tossed a kunai and a shuriken to Luke. Throw them at the training dummy over there. Okay. Said Luke. First, he threw the kunai at the dummy which hit in the middle of the chest at which he smirked. Then he threw the shuriken which missed. I still don't think it is effective. The kunai barely pierced the dummy. I told you. You don't know how to use it. Said Naruto as he laced the kunai with wind chakra and threw it at a blinding speed towards the dummy. It pierced straight through the dummy's forehead and got stuck in a tree behind it. Whoa. How did you do that? I laced the kunai with wind nature chakra. It makes it very sharp. Cool. Then, Naruto laced the shuriken with wind chakra and threw it and yelled, Shadow Shuriken Jutsu. As it multiplied into 20 and hit the tree behind the dummy. You missed. Nope. Wait for it. Just as he said that, the dummy fell to the ground, sliced into multiple pieces. Luke looked at the dummy, speechless. Whoa. Said Naruto as he sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. Take a break everyone. Said Luke as everybody stopped dueling and went towards the water filter. Here. Said Naruto as 2 bottles of ice-cold water appeared in his hand. Take this. He said as he tossed Luke and Percy a bottle. Luke took a sip, but Percy uncapped the bottle and poured the water on his head. Immediately, he felt relaxed as all his energy returned to him and all the cuts and bruises on him faded, but nobody noticed that. Everybody sat down in the arena seats as only Luke was standing there. Now I am going to demonstrate a disarming technique. He said. Percy Jackson, wanna help me with the demo? Sure, why not? Said Percy as he walked down and stood in front of Luke. Luke did his thing and demonstrated a technique which caused the sword to fall out of Percy's hand. This technique is good and all, but it won't work if the opponent has a different fighting style. Said Percy. Fighting style? Asked a confused Luke. Oh god. Don't tell me all of you fighting without a proper style. What do you even learn in this camp? Asked Naruto. TCH. Like you could do any better than Luke. Said a boy in the back. Of course I could, but Percy has to duel Luke anyways, so let him show you how to fight properly. Said Naruto as he jumped down in the arena. Are you both ready? The rules are simple. Said Naruto. No killing or crippling strikes. No breaking bones or cutting of limbs. No permanent damage. Percy, no removing your weights. This is just a friendly spar so Percy, try not to hurt him too much. Percy nodded. Luke looked confused. Weights. Yeah. He is wearing 250 pounds of weights on him. 25 on each limb and 50 on his chest. Everybody's eyes widened while Percy and Naruto smirked. 250 pounds. Asked Luke. How does he even move? Naruto chuckled. Are you ready? You ready? Luke lifted up his sword. Percy took up a stance with his left leg forward and his right leg behind, diagonally facing the right. His left palm faced Luke as he gripped the sword with his right hand, upside down, behind him, with his elbows bent and the sword diagonally pointing between behind and below him. That is not how you hold a sword, Dumbus. Shouted one kid from the spectator area. What kind of stance is that? Asked Luke. I have never seen that one before. It is a basic stance of my sword fighting style, raging whirlpools. Begin. Shouted Naruto. Luke charged at Percy, his sword raised above his head. He brought down his sword, but before he could hit him, Percy hit his sword from the right, pushing the sword to the left, while he continued his spinning motion and kicked away Luke's feet, causing him to fall to the ground as Percy pointed the sword to Luke's neck. I win. Everybody was shocked. How? Said another boy from the spectator seats. The match lasted only 5 seconds. That's raging whirlpools for you. And I haven't even learned the complete style. It is supposed to be used with 2 sabers. Maybe I'll ask Charles from Hephaestus' cabin for it. End of flashback. It is Friday night. Time for capture the flag. Everybody was running around, wearing armor and getting their weapons. It was Athena, Hermes, Hephaestus and Aphrodite versus the rest. The alliance with Aphrodite was only because Naruto was on the same team. Naruto and Percy were walking, geared up and battle ready. Percy wore black pants and shoes and a dark blue t-shirt with his 2 sabers on his back, in a cross shape. Naruto wore black pants, black shoes and a long-sleeved dark red t-shirt with a light red swirl and 8 arrows pointing out of it, on the back. He had a katana on his back and 2 pouches for kunai and shuriken, one on the right side of his hip and one tied on his left leg. Hey guys. Said Annabeth as she approached them. Are you both ready? Yeah. Said Percy. Good. Hey. Why aren't you 2 wearing any armor? Asked Luke as he approached them. We don't need it. Replied Naruto. What do you mean you don't need it? Do you want to have 10 swords through you? Naruto chuckled. We are too fast for that. I have told Percy to remove his weights for this. All people will see are blurs. And even if we do get hurt, we can heal almost instantly. You're kidding, right? Do I look like I am kidding? said Naruto as he stared at Luke, who gulped. Shadow clone jutsu. Transformation jutsu, said Naruto as he made 10 shadow clones and transformed them into birds. What are you doing? Asked a confused Annabeth. My clones will scout the battlefield and find the locations of the archers. Once they dispel, I will get their memories. Then we just walk up to the flag and take it and deal with anyone who is in our way. Okay, but who will guard the flag? Nobody. I have placed a protective barrier seal around 3 meters of the flag. No person or thing can enter it. Only our team can. Oh. That's useful. The clones just dispelled. There are 4 archers in the trees to the right, 20 meters from here, and 3 in the left, 25 meters from here. 3 Ares cabin kids are guarding the flag and the rest are coming towards us from the far left. Looks like Claris wants revenge on Percy. Okay. Hey, Ares won the last game, right? Asked Percy. Yes. Replied Luke. Naruto, said Percy, grinning at him, use Flying Thunder God. Make this the shortest game ever. Are you sure you don't want to mess around with them? Asked Naruto. Nah. Okay. Earth style. Stone pillar. A stone pillar raised Naruto from the ground into the air. He pulled out a 3-pronged kunai and threw it towards the enemy's flag. It's done, said Naruto as he jumped down from the pillar and landed beside his team. What did you do? Asked Annabeth. I threw one of my kunai knives at the Ares flag. The knife has a special seal on it that allows me to teleport to it no matter how far I am. Oh. That is the most useful technique I have ever heard of. Hold on tight, said Naruto before he grabbed Percy and Annabeth and flashed to where the kunai landed. Immediately, Naruto and Percy knocked out the 3 guards as Annabeth watched them in amazement. It's all yours, she said as Naruto grabbed the flag and lifted it in the air. Suddenly, a loud horn blew and a loud voice of Chiron was heard. The game has ended and the Athena cabin has won. After a while, everybody gathered around where the Ares flag used to be. Some congratulated Naruto while others shot him hateful looks. Everybody was whispering about how quick the game ended. Mr. Uzumaki, next time please refrain from using that jutsu of yours. You ended the game before it even started, said Chiron while smirking at Naruto. Sorry, Chiron, said Naruto as he sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. Suddenly, a growl was heard from a hound the size of a rhino. It had lava eyes and long fangs. It pounced at Percy, who was too busy celebrating. It started to tear through Percy's flesh. Immediately, Naruto came and sliced the beast in half with his katana. Quick. Percy, get in the water, said Naruto. Percy rolled into a small stream nearby as everybody gathered around and watched in amazement as all his wounds instantly healed. Oh no. This is bad, said Annabeth as everybody stared at something above Percy's head. He looked up to see a small, spinning, sea-green trident. Everybody started kneeling, even the Ares cabin, though they didn't look happy about it. Your father, Percy, said Chiron. It is determined. Poseidon. Earthshaker, Stormbringer, father of horses. Herr Perseus, son of the sea god. It is about time Dad claimed me, said an amused Percy. Wait, you knew? Asked a surprised Annabeth. Yeah. What do you think I am? Stupid. It is kinda obvious. Oh, shut up. You had no clue. I was the one who told you after I saw you copy my water dragon, said Naruto. Yeah, whatever. Then everybody started staring at Naruto with wide eyes. What? Do I have something on my face? Said Naruto as he looked up. Above his head was a red swirl with 8 black arrows coming out of it, pointing outwards. It's about goddamn time. Why, you also knew? Asked Annabeth. Of course. Why do you think I have this? Said Naruto as he turned around and pointed towards the same symbol printed on his t-shirt. Everybody was shocked. All hail Naruto, said a trembling Chiron. The first son of Chaos, the creator, destroyer and the father of the primordials. Just after that, he fainted. Chapter 7. A Quest. Percy, Naruto, the big house. Now. The rest of you move along, said Chiron as he along with Percy, Naruto and Dionysus walked towards the big house while the others walked to their cabins, talking about what had just happened. At the big house 5 minutes later. The 4 of them were sitting around the ping pong table inside the big house. So mind telling us how you knew your parents? Asked Mr. D. Well, considering the fact that I can breathe underwater and get healed by it, it was pretty obvious, said Percy. And unlike the gods, my dad isn't bound by ancient laws. He can do whatever he wants and there are no bullshit rules to stop him. I have met him multiple times. How do you think I know to control my chakras so well? I can't learn everything on my own now, can I? Said Naruto. Mr. D and Chiron nodded. Percy, do you know why the Hellhound attacked you tonight? Asked Chiron. Not really. It means there is a traitor in the camp, but I don't know who, replied Percy. Chiron sighed. There are two reasons, Percy. The first one is that you are not supposed to exist. He said. What? Asked Percy. Do you know what was the cause of World War II? Asked Chiron. No. Replied Percy. World War II was caused by the children of the Big Three. The children of Zeus and Poseidon against the children of Hades. After it ended, the Big Three made an oath to not have children with mortals again, to prevent another war. Said Chiron. So basically I am committing a crime by staying alive. Stated Percy. Yes. Replied Chiron. What is the second reason? Asked Percy. Zeus's symbol of power, his master bolt, was stolen by someone. Zeus blames Poseidon. The Cyclops who made the master bolt live inside the ocean, so Zeus thinks Poseidon convinced a demigod to steal it for him and make illegal copies of the weapon to overthrow him. Replied Chiron. And let me guess. Since I am Poseidon's son, he think I stole it? Asked Percy. Exactly. Replied Chiron. Meanwhile Naruto was fuming in his head. I told them that it wasn't Poseidon who stole it, but they didn't listen. I will punish them later. He thought with a mental, sadistic grin that even gave Kurama shivers. So what are we going to do about it now? Asked Percy. Chiron sighed, there is no other way. You would have to go on a quest, so do you accept? He asked. What exactly am I supposed to do in this quest? That's the hard part, the details. Do you accept? Sure. The next morning. So who are you taking for the quest? Asked Chiron. Naruto, Annabeth and Grover. Replied Percy. Percy, you are only allowed to take 2 members on a quest with you unless otherwise mentioned by the oracle. Any more normally results in the death of one or more of the members. Said Chiron seriously. Oh relax Chiron, I am not going as an official member of the quest. I am going as their sensei of sorts. It's their quest, but letting a couple kids go out to face monsters and retrieve a powerful weapon like that is just stupid. I am just going to make sure they don't die. Said Naruto as he suddenly appeared in a swirl of wind. You do realize that you are also a kid, right? Asked Chiron. A pretty darn strong kid, don't you think? Retorted Naruto. That point. So what did the oracle say, Percy? Asked Chiron. You shall go west and face the god who has turned. You shall find what was stolen and see it safely returned. You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend. The god of gods shall prevent war in the end. No idea who this god of gods is, but if he saves the world then it's great. Said Percy. I thought these stupid prophecies are supposed to be confusing. This seems pretty straightforward to me. Thought Naruto. You forget, Naruto, that prophecies don't apply to you. Said Matatabi, the two-tailed demon cat through her mental link with Naruto. Get your team and get ready. Argus will drop you off as far as he can take you. Good luck heroes. Stay alive. Said Chiron as Percy nodded and Naruto grinned. Finally. Some excitement after so long. This is gonna be fun. Thought Naruto. Down below in Tartarus someone shivered. Why do I have a feeling someone is gonna mess up my plans big time? He thought. Chapter 8. A problem solved. Argus had driven the team as far as he could, the massive bus coming to a stop at a Greyhound station not too far from Percy's home. The sound of the engine shutting off left an eerie silence as Percy, Annabeth, Grover, and Naruto disembarked. Alright, we're here, Percy said, scanning the area. Just a few blocks away from my mom's apartment. I'll head there first, check on her, and make sure things are alright with Gabe. Naruto, who had been standing with his arms crossed, suddenly raised an eyebrow. You know, it sounds like that Gabe guy is a real pain in the neck. I think we could use this opportunity to not just check on her, but also give him a little help. Percy shot Naruto a skeptical look. What do you mean? Let's just say, Naruto grinned, I've got ways of making people leave when they need to. Annabeth raised an eyebrow. I don't know if that's a good idea, Naruto. We're here to help Percy's mom, not make things worse. Relax, Annabeth, Naruto said with a wink. I won't do anything too crazy. Besides, I'm sure Percy's mom would appreciate having someone like me around to handle things with a little bit more tact than Percy's usual punch first, ask questions later style. Percy groaned. Great, now I'm worried. With that, they all began walking down the street, the Greyhound station fading behind them. It wasn't long before they reached the familiar run-down apartment building where Percy's mom, Sally Jackson, lived. Percy's heart tightened as he approached the door, knowing that Gabe would probably be inside, making things harder than they needed to be. When they reached the front door, Percy knocked loudly. After a few moments, the door swung open to reveal his mother, her face lighting up when she saw him. Percy? Sally Jackson exclaimed, wrapping him in a tight hug. Oh my gods, I didn't think I'd see you again. What are you doing here? I thought. I'm here to check on you, Mom. Percy interrupted gently, stepping back from the hug. I know things have been tough and I just wanted to make sure you're okay. Sally's smile faltered slightly and she looked over Percy's shoulder at the group behind him. "And who are these three?" she asked, her voice polite but cautious. "This is Naruto, Annabeth, and Grover," Percy said while pointing at each of his friends. "My friends from camp, although Naruto has been with me since Yansei. We are on a quest right now." Sally frowned. "A quest? Already? How do you manage to get yourself in trouble so often, Percy? It has hardly been a week since you got to camp. What happened now?" she asked as she moved aside, letting the kids walk inside the house. "Well, the big grumpy king got his master bolt stolen and he blames dad for it. Since gods can't enter each other's domains or take symbols of power without permission, a demigod had to be the culprit. And since I'm dad's only demigod son, he thinks I stole it, so now we are on a quest to find it," replied Percy. "And where exactly are you going to find it?" asked Sally. Percy gulped. "The underworld," he replied. "Oh gods. Percy. That's too dangerous. You have hardly trained in camp for a week and they are sending you to the underworld," Sally exclaimed. "Well, it is a bit of a necessity, otherwise World War III might begin between Poseidon and Zeus," said Annabeth with a sigh. "Besides, Mom, I have been training for months now. Naruto is super strong and he has been training me," said Percy. "Huh?" asked Sally. "Let me explain," said Naruto. "I originally come from Japan, from a line of ninjas, and with my father being Chaos, I have been training and fighting monsters for years now." Sally was surprised by this and nodded dumbly, but still looked worried. However, before she could say anything, a horrible stench entered the living room, followed by the originator of the stench, Gabe Ugliano, Percy's stepdad. As Gabe entered the living room from his study, which was originally Percy's room, "He has gotten fatter," Percy observed. He looked like a tuskless walrus in thrift store clothes. He had about 3 hairs on his head, all combed over his bald scalp, as if that made him handsome or something. "Look what we have here, the brat and his little buddies. I heard you ran away from school after your report card came," said smelly Gabe. "I'm just here to see Mom, Gabe," Percy said, his voice tight with restrained frustration. "We don't need your crap today." "Yeah, well, you don't get to tell me what to do in my house, kid," Gabe sneered. "She's my wife now. You don't get to bring anyone home whenever you please." Naruto, who had been observing Gabe with a keen eye, smirked. He casually took a seat at the table, pulling out a deck of cards from his pouch. "How about a little game, Gabe?" Naruto said, his voice smooth and playful. "You and me. Let's play poker. I'm sure you've got some spare change you can throw down." Gabe shot Naruto a skeptical look, then snorted. "Poker, huh? You think you can beat me at my own game? I've been playing this for years, kid. I know all the tricks." "Well, let's see what you've got," Naruto said, already shuffling the cards with ease. He looked over at Percy with a sly grin. "I'll take care of this. You should talk to your mom. I'll keep Gabe entertained." Percy nodded and walked over to his mom, giving Naruto a wary glance. It wasn't long before they were deep in conversation, but Percy couldn't help but glance back every so often. From what he could see, Naruto wasn't just playing poker. He was controlling the game, manipulating the odds with a precision that almost seemed supernatural. Annabeth and Grover joined Percy at the kitchen table, quietly discussing the quest ahead. But every now and then, a loud groan or angry outburst from Gabe made it clear that things weren't going well for him. "God damn it. This is rigged," Gabe shouted, slamming his cards on the table as Naruto casually raked in the winnings. "There's no way you can be this good at poker. What kind of joke is this?" Naruto leaned back in his chair, flashing Gabe a grin. "No joke, Gabe. Looks like you're losing. Maybe you should stop before you end up really broke." Sally, who had been quietly watching the scene unfold, finally stood up and walked over. She placed a hand on Gabe's shoulder, but there was no warmth in her touch. "I think it's time for you to leave, Gabe," she said softly, but with a firmness that left no room for argument. Gabe turned to face her. His face red with anger. What are you talking about? You can't just throw me out." Naruto stood up, stepping toward Gabe with an air of complete confidence. "Oh, trust me, Gabe," he said in a low, almost predatory tone, "you don't want to stay here anymore. You've outlived your usefulness and I'm making sure you know it." Gabe's eyes flickered, a brief flash of rage, crossing his face, quickly overshadowed by nervousness as he saw the malicious grin on Naruto's face. "Oh yeah? And what are you gonna do?" Naruto grinned evilly as he ran through hand signs as said Jinjutsu. Hell viewing technique. Gabe suddenly froze as his eyes glazed over and beads of sweat started rolling down his half-bald head before he suddenly stumbled back, away from Naruto as a look of fear overtook his face. "Why you? What are you?" he said in fear, slowly, moving away from Naruto. "You've been leeching off of this family long enough, Gabe. Run away and never show your face here again or I will make every single thing you saw a reality," said Naruto with a glare. "This isn't over," said Gabe in fright before he ran out of the house. Sally stared at the empty doorway, her breath coming out in a relieved sigh. Thank you. Thank you all. I don't know how you did it, but he's finally gone. Naruto just shrugged, an easy grin on his face. What can I say? I'm good at making people disappear. You don't have to suffer anymore, Sally. He will never bother you again. I hate to ruin the moment, but we have a lightning bolt to find and we are kinda running out of time. Besides, if we stay here too long, then monsters might come here, said Annabeth as everybody paled. You all get going to the bus station, I'll catch up in a moment after talking to Sally, said Naruto. Percy gave Naruto a confused look before shrugging his shoulders. He hugged his mom and gave her a peck on her cheek before saying his goodbyes along with Annabeth and Grover and walking out of the house towards the bus station. So, what did you want to talk about, Naruto? Asked Sally with a kind smile. Naruto sighed. I know you are still worried, Sally. And I understand that as a mother, it is very difficult not to worry when your son is literally going to the underworld to encounter the Lord of the Dead and find the world's strongest weapon. But rest assured, I will keep him safe. In the short time that I have known Percy, he has grown on me. He is like a little brother to me now, and with me beside him, there is nothing in the world that can harm him. I understand that you are strong, Naruto, but he is going to possibly fight a god in the land of the dead. At the end of the day, you are also immortal, said Sally with a frown. Oh, don't underestimate mortals, Sally. With the right training and an unbreakable will, mortals can even be stronger than gods. Besides, when I told you that I'm the son of Chaos, I lied, said Naruto. Sally gave Naruto a confused look. Then whose son are you? She asked. Naruto gave a sad smile. Well, my mother and father lived and died a long time ago, well before I destroyed everything and created this world. The truth is, I am Chaos, said Naruto. Sally's eyes widened as she saw the symbol of chaos appear behind Naruto, along with a holographic image of 9 different powerful tailed beasts. The symbol and image faded away as Sally dropped to her knees, bowed her head down, and said in fear, "Our Lord Chaos. I am sorry for any disrespect." Naruto immediately pulled Sally back up and said, "Please don't bow to me and call me Naruto. I dislike formalities, just be yourself when around me." Sally smiled. "Thank you, Naruto. Now I don't need to worry, I know Percy will be safe with you around." Naruto grinned and snapped his fingers as a beautiful silver necklace with an orange gemstone as a pendant appeared in his hand. "Here you go, a small gift for you." But started Sally. "Please, I insist. It's of no cost to me. Any family of Percy is family of mine, and this necklace will keep you protected at all times. It will prevent monsters from being attracted to you, give you some control over the mist, and prevent anyone or anything, divine or mortal, from harming you," said Naruto. Sally was hesitant but accepted the gift. Naruto then pulled out debit card out of nowhere and placed it in Sally's palm. "Naruto, you have already done far too much for Percy and I can't possibly accept this," said Sally in shock, trying to hand the debit card back to Naruto. "You are a good woman, Sally, suffering yourself in order to keep your son safe, raising him by yourself without asking any help from Poseidon. I say it's about time you start living and enjoying your life. I know you want to be a writer, so take this and enjoy your life without worries. Explore your passion as a writer and live to the fullest. Take this as a gift from family. Like I said, it's of no cost to me. Just don't tell anyone about this. Nobody knows that I'm Chaos, including the gods and Percy," said Naruto. Sally's eyes watered as she suddenly embraced Naruto, whispering thank you. Naruto gently smiled as he hugged her back and said anytime. Chapter 9. Bats here, bats there, bats everywhere. Naruto jogged up to the Greyhound just as the driver was about to shut the doors. Percy, Annabeth and Grover were already in line, their bags slung over their shoulders. Annabeth gave him a look that could have frozen lava. "Nice of you to join us," she muttered. "What did you do, stop for breakfast?" Naruto grinned, slipping into line behind them. "Don't knock pancakes. Food of champions." He leaned toward Percy and stage whispered, "Though your mom makes them better. Totally worth the detour." Percy tried not to smile but failed. "You're impossible." "Thank you," Naruto said, bowing slightly. They climbed onto the bus and claimed a couple rows near the middle. Grover instantly hogged the window seat, muttering about needing an emergency escape route. Annabeth sat across the aisle, arms folded, scanning the passengers like she expected them all to sprout fangs any second. Percy flopped down beside Grover, while Naruto stretched out behind them like he was on vacation. For the first 15 minutes, everything was suspiciously normal. Too normal. Percy kept sneaking glances at 2 old ladies knitting up front. Annabeth had noticed too. Her scowl had gone from annoyed at Naruto to calculating battle plan. Then Grover's nostrils twitched. He sniffed once, twice. His eyes widened. Does anyone else smell brimstone?" Naruto leaned forward, sniffing loudly. "Smells more like overcooked barbecue." Think they've got ribs under those coats? Not funny. Grover hissed, yanking his hoodie tighter. That's monster stink. As if on cue, the old ladies stood. Their knitting needles clattered to the floor, their faces twisting into leathery bat-winged nightmares. Oh, come on, Percy groaned. Why won't these bats leave me alone? Bats here. Bats there. Bats everywhere. Babbled Naruto. Passengers stirred but didn't see monsters. To them, it just looked like the bus lurched, maybe a fight brewing. A few muttered complaints. One guy ducked behind a newspaper. An old lady clutched her purse and whispered, "Crazy kids these days." The Furies ignored them, stalking down the aisle, eyes locked on Percy. "Son of Poseidon," one hissed. "Hand over the bolt." Percy's fingers tightened around his pen. He uncapped it, riptide flashing to life in the dim light. His throat worked, but he didn't back down. Annabeth yanked her Yankees cap from her belt and jammed it on, vanishing from sight. Her dagger gleamed as she crept low, slipping toward the nearest Fury unseen. Grover reached into his pocket and pulled out a pair of awkward nunchucks, looking half ready to charge, half ready to feint. Annabeth, still half visible in a shimmer from her cap, paused mid-sneak attack. "Seriously, Grover? Nunchucks?" Grover swung his nunchucks wildly, nearly clocking himself in the ear. "Improvisation," he squeaked. "Martial arts goat style." Naruto laughed so hard he almost forgot there were monsters on board. 10 out of 10 for creativity, buddy. Grover puffed up, clearly proud despite tripping over the next seat. Naruto rose too, cracking his knuckles, but instead of diving into the fight, he patted Percy's shoulder. "Alright Percy, this one's yours. I'll back you up." Percy blinked at him. "What aren't you going to? Me? Nah. You're the star of this show." Naruto leaned back against the seat, folding his arms like a spectator. "I'll just keep the score." "Great pep talk," Percy muttered, raising his sword. The first Fury lunged, claws flashing. Percy barely got his blade up in time, sparks flying as bronze met talon. Annabeth struck from the side, her dagger slashing across leathery wings before she vanished again. Grover swung his nunchuck, smacking another Fury in the shin. "Nice." Naruto called, like a dad at a soccer game. "Good hustle, Grover." "Stop cheering, Andalp." Annabeth's voice came from nowhere, exasperated. "Fine, fine." Naruto sighed, and with a flick of his finger, the bus gave a sudden violent jolt. The Fury Percy was fighting slammed face first into the window. "Oops," Naruto said innocently. "Guess the driver hit a pothole." "Oops." Percy yelped, ducking another swipe. Naruto just grinned. "Relax. You've got this. Look heroic." The mortals were gripping their armrests, muttering about the bus going crazy, but none of them screamed about monsters. To them, it was just another terrible Greyhound ride. The Fury lunged at Percy, who swung riptide, bronze, sparking against claws. Annabeth's dagger slashed across leathery skin before she vanished again, her cap flickering in and out. Grover swung his nunchucks with a war cry that sounded suspiciously like a goat bleat, managing to smack a Fury across the nose. "Respect the nunchucks," he shouted. "Still ridiculous," Annabeth muttered, barely ducking a wild swipe until another Fury's nose twitched. With a snarl, it swung blindly in her direction and clipped her hard. Her cap flew off, falling under a seat. She groaned, rolling to her feet, now fully visible. "Perfect." Percy gritted his teeth, barely keeping up with the attacks. "Anytime now, Naruto." Naruto cracked his neck. "Fine, fine." He lifted his palm, and a sudden gust of wind whipped down the aisle, knocking one Fury backward into the snack machine at the front of the bus. Chips and candy rained down like confetti. "Party bus," Naruto announced. Another Fury shrieked and lunged straight for Percy, but Naruto snapped his fingers. A spark of flame flared at the Fury's face, forcing the monster to jerk back. Percy took the opening and slashed poof. One Fury gone. Annabeth followed up, stabbing hers in the side, and Grover, in a burst of bravery, tripped his with his nunchucks long enough for Percy to finish it. In a flash of golden dust, all three were gone. The bus screeched to a halt. Mortals were pale, muttering about crazy drivers and hallucinations from the fumes, but no one screamed about monsters. The four didn't wait for questions, they bolted out the emergency exit, followed by the rest of the mortals. The midday sun hit them as they stumbled a few yards away from the smoking vehicle. Percy bent over, panting. That's when a jagged bolt of lightning split the sky and slammed straight into the bus, making it erupt in a fireball, smoke curling upward. Mortals screamed and scrambled away, coughing, but none of them seemed to notice how unnatural the strike had been. Percy stared, wide-eyed. Zeus isn't even pretending anymore. Annabeth cursed under her breath. Naruto didn't joke this time. His jaw clenched, blue eyes narrowing as his hair shadowed his face. That bastard. A low growl rumbled in the back of his mind. Kurama. I told you he wouldn't listen. Gods are arrogant, Naruto. You gave him a chance to show restraint. He spat in your face. I warned him not to be stupid, Naruto snapped inwardly, fists tight. And he still dares in broad daylight. Kurama. Then stop playing games. Crush him. Naruto exhaled sharply, forcing the anger down. Not yet. Not here. This is Percy's quest. I'll handle Zeus when the time comes. Grover looked at Naruto nervously. Let's, keep moving before he decides to barbecue us too. Good idea. Said Percy. The group started walking along the highway, with Percy murmuring about Zeus, Annabeth cursing this Percy's bad luck, and Grover groaning about his blisters. Naruto, meanwhile, sensed an odd feeling. Finally, Annabeth pointed. There. Up ahead, tucked between looming trees, a small wooden sign read. Aunt M's Garden Gnome Emporium. Naruto tilted his head. Gnomes. Really? This is either the safest place in America or the creepiest. Grover swallowed. Knowing our luck. Definitely the second one. They exchanged wary glances, then stepped off the road toward the darkened shop. What if Naruto is the husband of Chaos Percy Jackson? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.